It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
What it do? What it do? Welcome to another episode of Let's Bet It. Um, Solo today. Shout out to all the fellas, LJ, Stacks, GLB, Can't Stop. Sure, we'll all get back together at some point this week to break down some more of these playoff games. But we'll get on here briefly, talk about the two games on tap tonight: Cavs, Pistons, and Lakers and Thunder. Yesterday was excellent for me. I mean, really the playoffs. I started off 0-7, um, but since then, man, I've been 44-15. My volume is heavy, and with that, when you got heavy volume like that, it can, if you have a couple bad days, it can really put you in a hole as far as your record and your units, but the one thing about the playoffs, man, these games are a lot easier to read when there's not a lot of roster manipulation and things like that, and these guys are coming to play every night, so it makes it a lot easier to cat. But starting 0-7, and since then I've been 44-15, so 44-22 overall on my straights. And all these plays have been posted on Twitter, 66%. 5-0 last night. Knicks team total was, I mean, that wasn't even a question for me. I went heavy on that one. Josh Hart, RA over 12.5. That just, that barely hit, but I'll take it. Knicks first quarter, Knicks third quarter. It was a good night last night. So we're gonna try to keep it going. Like I said, 2 games on tap tonight, and I think I got some decent looks. I don't think the volume isn't going to be near what it's been, the last couple of days, but feel pretty confident about what we're going to be talking about tonight. So let's get into it, man. Cavs, Pistons laying 3.5 at home, total sitting at 215.5. Only injury, and this might be a notable one. Kevin Huerter, I believe. I don't know if he missed the entire Magic series, but he was out for a good portion of it. But he's a game time decision tonight with a thigh injury, and that could, possibly provide some much needed shooting for Detroit. They've really been Duncan Robinson has really been their only, deep threat that can stretch a defense. So hopefully, I don't think Huerter will see a ton of minutes, but him being active possibly is a good thing for them. Obviously they're coming off of a grueling 7-game series against Orlando, came back down from 3-1 to take that one, took game 7 at home. Started off a little shaky in that first quarter, but after that, it wasn't even a doubt. So the Cavs, same deal, coming off another grueling game 7 series against the Raptors. You could almost argue that the Raptors lost, but mostly outplayed them, aside from that second half in the game 7 where Cleveland just blew the game open after Toronto had it tied at halftime and had a lead after the first quarter. So both these teams coming in, off of a grueling series, grueling game 7s, and I've always liked taking game 1 overs, especially after the second round. I've always liked taking these overs because as the series progresses, you might get a line that's really a total that's really low to start a series in game 1, and in game 1. And as defenses make adjustments, you see those totals drop and drop and drop as the series goes on. And I don't think this one's any different. I think that Detroit against Toronto, this is what I'll say. Not against Toronto, against Orlando. Is Cleveland's defense as good as Orlando's? Absolutely not. But Orlando's offense on the same level as Cleveland's, and that's an absolutely not. So this is this is an offense, that Detroit didn't have to play 7 times, in the last series. And I don't know if you with Cleveland, the one thing I'll say about the Cleveland series, and I don't know if this got talked about enough, I feel like Toronto's coach, Coach Darko, I thought he was masterful in that series at throwing different looks at Cleveland. Really confusing that team, especially at home. You could tell the difference. It was night and day. Cleveland offensively at home, they were much better, but when they got to Toronto, it was nasty work. And I gotta say that Detroit's defense is better than Toronto's. So contrasting styles. Did Detroit see an offense as good as did Detroit see an offense as good as Cleveland's in the first round? No. But did Cleveland see a defense as good as or no, what I'm saying is, my bad. Did Detroit see an offense as good as Cleveland's in the first round? Absolutely not. But did Cleveland see a defense as good as Detroit's in the first round? And Toronto's was excellent, but absolutely not. So it's a lot that remains to be seen in game one. But with these two teams coming off a grueling series, grueling game sevens, expending a lot of energy, over is a heavy play for me today. I got the over 214.5. I still think you can find that maybe as an outline. It might be a little bit juice on DraftKings, but 214 is a play for me. As far as a side, and I think I'm going to get there. I lean Cleveland plus 3.5. These two teams were evenly matched in the regular season. I know it's the playoffs now, but I lean Cleveland just because they have more offensive options. I love Detroit's defense. I love the way they defend, but like we just said, Detroit hasn't seen an offense like Cleveland. Harden, can contribute, even though I'm at this point in his career, man, these playoffs, I almost don't think he wants any parts of it anymore, it seems like. But they've got several offensive options. They've got more shooters than Detroit. You've got Merrill that can stretch the floor. You've got Strus that can stretch the floor. You've got Dean Wade that can knock down threes. I just think that the offensive firepower that the Cavs have, and they might be relieved not having to face Coach Darko and the Raptors in this series. So if I'm and it's a strong lean, just follow me on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, turn your noties on. I'm gonna probably get to Cleveland plus 3.5 in this one, more than likely. I think these teams are somewhat evenly matched, and if you're gonna give me points with Cleveland, I'm gonna take them. Prop wise, didn't bet anything in this one. You can always look at Tobias Harris points. He had an excellent game 7, supporting Cade, had a 30 ball. You could look at, I honestly think even Asur Thompson, maybe he goes over his points. If we're talking about this is going to be an over game. So, but yeah, player props, something I really didn't look at. Not a big prop guy. I probably need to be because I know that's where money is, but I'm liking these sides and totals a little bit better here in the playoffs. So next game, Lakers and Thunder. So Lakers, of course, coming off of the 4-2 series win against Houston. Thunder come in off a sweep of Phoenix. No real issues there with them getting, dispatching of the Suns. Total sitting at, or Thunder laying 15.5 at home. Total sitting at 213.5. Of course, the Thunder are missing J-Dub. Not sure when he's going to be back. But, man, I'm not sure it's going to matter in this series. I think just like the Phoenix series, I don't think the Lakers can offer much resistance against OKC. All of their games. So in this one, I took the Thunder team total over 114.5. That was a no-brainer for me. They went over this total in all 4 games with the Suns in their first round series. They went over this total in all 4 games against the Lakers in the regular season. Granted, one of the games really nobody played. And then another game they hit 139, and that was actually the game that Luka went down with the hamstring injury. So and the Lakers struggled to defend anyway in the regular season. Now, granted, they defended better against Houston, but it doesn't take much to defend against Houston, who couldn't shoot anyway. So while I want to give the Lakers credit for their defensive effort against Houston, it's like it's the Rockets. They were missing KD. They couldn't score. They couldn't really score with KD, and especially without him, they looked, even worse. And I just think that the Thunder are a different animal. Going up against a defense like the Lakers. I think the Thunder are going to turn the Lakers over. The Lakers really don't have a primary ball handler without Luka. I think they're going to turn these boys over. I think they're going to get out in transition. I think they are going to get easy buckets. And I see this game flying over, honestly. Another play that I haven't played yet, but this is probably going to be one of my plays, is the Thunder first quarter -4.5. You can catch that. I know it's a little juiced on FanDuel. I haven't really looked at any other books to see where that is. But if you look at the first quarter for the Thunder in these playoffs, they are, and let me take a look here. The Thunder, overall, their net rating is 23 in the playoffs. And now, granted, we're talking about a small sample size, just talking about the first round. But in these first quarters, they come out smoking, a 23.0 net rating, second overall. Now, the Lakers are 4th overall in the playoffs so far in net rating in the first quarter. But on the road in the games they played in Houston, first quarter, they had an 8.0 net rating. And now, if you're talking about an 8.0 net rating against the Rockets, come on, man. Like, when it comes to the Thunder, plus they're well rested, first quarter -4.5, book it for me. Like I said, I haven't played it, but if you follow my Twitter account, you'll see I'm turning noties on. I'm gonna probably play this one. So we'll move over to a top play. I feel like everybody's giving out the Cavs Pistons over, which, like I said, I've played that one already. But I'm gonna make my top play OKC first quarter -4.5. I think that they come out. If you think they're gonna cover the spread, it's got to start in the first quarter, right? And I just think that OKC, they're 10 deep even without J-Dub. The Lakers don't have they just don't have enough. You're asking LeBron to carry these boys. I think Reeves is still a little rusty from being hurt. So I just think that OKC comes out early. I wouldn't be mad at the first half. You can get a -9.5 at some books, but my top play for the day is going to be OKC first quarter -4.5. All right, y'all. That's really all I got today. 15 minutes and we out of here. See if we can get the guys all back at some point this week to break down some more of these second round games. But like, subscribe, trying to build this community up, trying to give you guys some winners in the playoffs. And until then, peace out, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
If you broke, try to have a nice day. If you're fat, try to have a nice day. If you're skinny, try to have a nice day. If you got a big head, try to have a nice day. If your mama's ugly, try to have a nice day. If your daddy whoop your ass, try to have a nice day. If a dog bites you in the ass, bite him back and try to have a nice day. Try to have a nice day. See, that's my theme. Try to have a nice day. I'm about to leave right now. I'm going to try to have me a nice day. All right. Try to have a nice day.